Perfect. All right. So you will have access to this document. I see some of you are coming in now. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Again, so we're all here together. From the first page, that landing page is just that first page that you saw. This has all the clickable links, my information, and just resources for you. Where I'm at, I am on slide 8. You can either scroll down to get to slide 8, or you can, at the bottom right side, you'll see a page, and you can go to page 8. Page 8. All right, I see that some of you are coming in, which is great. One thing that I want to point out, especially for those of you who are newer to Cami, is that you are able to see who is on your document, which can be great for accountability for US teachers. You can select the collaborators on the top toolbar. To the right side, you'll see initials. And I'm able to see every person that is on my document, and I can see that you're actively online right now. If you were to sign out or close this tab, it would let me know that. It would say online a few minutes ago, a few seconds ago. It would let me know. It would give me that an indicator underneath your name. So this can be you can always tell if your students are on your Cami doc. If you're working together, you can see that. All right. Another thing that I want to point out is that I was showing you my presentation in presentation mode. So it looks like a Google slide or a Canva. So it does that same thing. And I can exit that mode by selecting the 3 dots and then exiting there. All right. So there are some of you who haven't joined just yet. The link to the Cami doc is inside the chat. Is the last thing there. It is the link. I'll pin it too. It's there. All right. So I do have a question for you all on slide 9. How much time do you currently spend personalizing your instruction and providing feedback? So how much time are you currently spending? I would like for you to not answer this in the chat, but answer it on the Cami doc by utilizing either your drawing tool, your commenting tool, or your text box tool. And you can just circle or comment how much time do you spend personalizing? Are you currently personalizing instruction and providing feedback for your students? How much time are you spending? 1 hour a week, 2, 3, 4, 5+ hours? How much time are you spending personalizing instruction and providing feedback for your students? Again, you can utilize the drawing tool to the left-hand side. You'll see a toolbar. There's a drawing tool. You should have a commenting tool, a text box tool. Yes, some of you have figured out how to change the color. Beautiful. Keep going. I'll give it a few more minutes. Yeah, I'll give it a minute. How much time are you currently spending on personalizing instruction? Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I got an arrow. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. Now, humor me. I want you to try to erase someone else's drawing, their circle. I want you to try to erase them. Can you do it? Can you erase someone else's work? Or my work, for that matter.
Does it look like it?
No, you can only erase your own work. So that is another, so like, what's the point in utilizing Cami? I can make presentations wherever I like. You sure can. But when you share these presentations and you would like for collaboration, oftentimes students can definitely erase each other's work, move your stuff around. You are unable to edit. You can't move my text that I had in this slide deck, and you cannot delete each other's work. But I, as the teacher, I can see exactly who created each drawing, and I can delete them if they're inappropriate or if they're just taking over a space. So you do have that capability and that customization. So that's one of the good features, things that I really love and enjoy about Kami. Also, you may notice that my toolbar has a lot more features than yours, right? Well, that's because when I shared this document with you, so the way that I shared is on the top right-hand corner. There, next to my initials, there is a purple share button. When I shared it with you, I shared it with this link. I can also share it via QR code if your students utilize iPads, or if you have them use their phones, that you can utilize the QR code feature. Now, when I shared it with you, I had a few options. I could share it with you based upon your email domain, or I can share it with you based upon just the link. I could have had you as a viewer, but at this stage, I have you as an editor. And when I select editor, I have this feature control button that appears. When I select there, I am able to control which features you have. So currently you have the select tools, you have the commenting tools, text box drawing, and eraser. I can turn all of these features off, or I can turn them all on, or I can select or unselect any features I do not want you to have access to. You will have customization to do that for absolutely every single Kami document you share with your students. So it just gives you a level of customization. Also, we have some support features that you can enable or disable as well. One of the most popular features that we have is our copy and paste feature. What that allows you to do is, if it is turned on, if it is checked, then students will be able to will be able to copy any of the text inside of the document, and they will also be able to paste as a text box or a comment into the document. If this option is unselected or unchecked, students will not be able to copy any of the text, nor will they be able to paste any responses into the document. This can be a really good place to help mitigate or help lessen plagiarism, because they wouldn't be able to copy a question and paste an answer. So a lot of teachers utilize this feature. There's also the spell check feature. This is great for spelling or vocabulary if spelling is something that you're assessing for. Voice typing, which we'll go into a little bit, but we do have a voice typing feature. And then closed captions, that if you have a video, you can enable or disable the captions. So I'm going to enable all of the features back for you so that you have them all. And now those features are available to you, and I didn't have to resend you the link. You have the link. It's there and available. You have it. So now you have the full toolbar with all of our Kami features. All right. So a good amount of you are spending 4 hours a week personalizing instruction. And some of the things that, and I would venture to say it's probably even more of you, because that's what we do for our students. Our students become our kids. And you know that particular students, they interact with things more visually, or maybe they're auditory learners, or maybe they work better in groups. All of those things are personalizing instruction. And when we give feedback, that feedback can take a large part of our day in our grading cycle. So here at Kami, what we're trying to do, we want to provide an AI-powered toolkit. And that's what we're here for today. So really, we want to help you to save some time when you're assessing, to give you some time back into your instructional practice and your feedback practices. So we're going to go over some of our tools that we have here in Kami that will hopefully save you some time and also help you provide more rich feedback that is actually impactful for your students. So I do have another question, and hopefully we can get some more people to join us. We have a good amount of people in here. Again, if you're just joining, the link for the Kami is pinned in the chat box, so it is there. All right, so when you hear AI, what comes to mind? I would like for you to utilize either the add media feature or maybe the text box feature, even the commenting tool. So let's give us a minute. When you hear AI, what comes to mind? There are no wrong answers. No such thing as a wrong answer. I'm going to put my answer too. Our add media feature will allow you to add pictures or anything from your Google Drive or open your camera. But when you hear AI, what comes to mind? Oh, let's do it in the Cami, not in the chat box. A new way of learning. Beautiful. I love your positivity. Wonderful. Excessive words. Ooh, okay. Too good to be true. Ooh, a skeptic in here. Yes, I understand that. Anybody else? Come on, there's like 20 of us, 23 of us. Come on. You all are teachers. You have words. That's what you're here for. Oh, goodness. Okay, yes, a whole workflow. Beautiful, beautiful. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me see if I think of... Yeah, nifty. Rise of the machines. Oh, yes. Endless possibilities. Somebody just wrote an S. What else? A great support and a time saver. I love this. All right. Anybody else? Helpful. Yes. Anybody else? How do we get on from a phone? Okay. You got to go to the link. I'll put the link again. You go to the link, and then from the link, you'll sign into the Cami. Anybody else? All right. Now, from this experience of us all collaborating together, would you say that this was pretty easy to collaborate? Was it pretty intuitive to collaborate? You can unmute or you can type in the chat. How was it to collaborate? It's pretty easy. Was it cumbersome? Yeah, not too difficult. Good. Could you see yourself using this collaboration with your students? Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Good. All right. So today we are going to be talking about a few of the tools that Cami has that can help you to see AI in a different way and to see it as some of you already do, to increase that as a new way of learning, a great support and a time saver, helpful, hopefully not too good to be true. I heard a phrase recently that said it is too good and it's definitely true. So today we're going to start with our Questions AI tool. So Questions AI is a Cami tool that generates and customizes assessments. So there are a few ways that it can do that, and I'm going to show you that work process. It can convert questions or assessments that you already have from any documents, any PDFs, and it can turn them into auto-graded assessments. Now, what I do want you to know is that your administrator will have to enable or disable the Questions AI for you. So my question is, on your toolbar, do you have underneath Eraser, do you have Question? Do you have that feature? It's right here. Yes.
Yes, we do.
Perfect. All right. Just so you know that your administrator has the ability to turn it on or off. So if it's ever off, then that means somebody in admin turned it off. So if it's not on for you, definitely somebody in admin. So that would be an administrator thing. That's not a Cami thing. It would be an administrator function. All right. So what you will do is, if you select, and I would like for you to watch the workflow, you'll be able to do it on your own, but you can do it with me. So on the left side in the toolbar, underneath Eraser, you see a Cami tool that says Question. If you select there, to your far right, this menu will appear. It's a questions AI. The question appears, how would you like to create questions? You can convert questions from an existing assessment. So let's say you already have an assessment that you use. You can convert questions from there. You can generate new questions, meaning you have from this slide deck, it will create questions, or you can build your own from scratch. So you can type in your own questions with your own answer choices. For today's activity, I will just generate them from this slide deck. I want the AI to generate questions from this slide deck. When I select the option, it will come to this menu or this page that says generate questions. I have the capability to select the grade level of questions that I would like. So 9th grade, the language that I would like those questions in, English, and the page range from the document of which pages do I want them to pull questions from. For this example, I'm just going to do this page. I'll just see page 14 to page 14. You can select a page range of up to 10 pages at a time. Then I have the option of the question type. So I can select multiple choice question or short answer questions, and the number of questions between 1 and 10 questions. So I'm just going to select one question for this. I also, to the right of questions, I have an advanced setting. When I select that advanced setting, it then gives me even further customization abilities. So how many answer options for my multiple choice question do I want it to have? 1, 2, up to 6. So from 2 up to 6 options. And then the level of difficulty. So do I want that level of difficulty to be at the 9th grade level, below the 9th grade level, or above the 9th grade level? Then also the depth of knowledge level. Do I want the depth of knowledge level to be a recall question, a skills question, strategic thinking, or an extended thinking question? Maybe I just want it to be a recall question. Once I've selected all the options, this is what I want. I can either add more questions or I can generate this set of questions. When I select generate, it takes generally about 20 seconds to generate those questions, but the more questions that you ask it to generate, the longer, but it never takes more than a minute. So let's give it a second. And then it created a question based upon the customization that I inputted. According to the image, which of the following describes how to convert existing questions? Now, this question is here. What I can do is, if I don't like the wording of the question, I can select that text and I can edit the wording of this question. If I don't like these answer options, I can hit the trash can and that answer option will be deleted. If I want to add my own answer option, I can do that as well. I can select which one would be the answer by selecting the green. I can also add a hint if I would like. I can randomize the order, which means that on each student, it will randomize the order in which the answer response choices are in. So I have a good amount of things I can do. And if I don't like this question altogether, I can just hit the trash can and delete it. For your students, it will look like this. I just select the binoculars, and this is how it will look for students, because that's always a question. The question will automatically pop up on the right-hand side when they enter in the Kami document. So those questions will appear for them. All right. So I can also, if I want to have that question on the page, I can have it to live on the page here. Or if I don't want the full question on the page, I can resize that. I can resize it. Exit. sorry, it took me back to the student view. I can resize it and make it here. But if I don't want the full question on there, I can select next to my initials, how do they want, I can select how I want this question to be displayed. So instead of the full question, I can select a marker. And so what I can do is say, put that marker that there's a question, and it will indicate to the student that there is a question here. There's a question. You can also change the color of this marker. For increased like personalization for students, let's say this was a reading passage, you could put the question near where they could find the answer if that's something that you would like to scaffold for them. And you can also increase the points or decrease them. You can do that as well as here. And then you can remove it from the page if you don't want it there at all. Any questions about this, our questions AI? Any questions or feedback? That was a good amount of information. Anyone see it as, like, do you see this could be something you would use or could use with your students?
I have a question.
Yes.
When the students are collaborating, do they have any option that they will not see what each one is typing until the end?
So in a questions AI, I wouldn't share this as for students to collaborate. I would share it as, instead of them being editors, I would share it as creating an individual copy. So then they all get their own copy.
Yeah, I meant to ask you that question before when you were looking, we were looking into the other slide, the collaborate, that we can collaborate on the text. At that point, is that not right now, but at that point when they are collaborating, there you go, the one that you passed, that we were typing some information right there. Because everybody's seeing the answers. Is there any way that they will not see the answers until they type it in?
No. So if it's a collaborative document, they'll see each other's work. It's just collaborative. But if you don't want them to see each other's work, then I would suggest sharing it as an individual copy. So then everybody gets their own copy and they don't see each other's work. You're the only one who sees it.
Okay.
Like, you know how when you share on Google Classroom, you create individual copy? It's the same thing.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question. Oh, y'all are making questions. Look at that. Okay, I see it. Perfect. So you can also import questions too. So seems like you all have generated questions, but you could create your own questions from scratch. And you could also, if you had questions on another document, you could create your own. So yeah, and then some of you are utilizing so for the short answers, what the short answers will do is it won't necessarily auto grade it because you'll have the final say. And even in the auto grading, you will be able to edit the scores. So you'll have the final say. But in the short answer, it's looking for keywords. And if those keywords aren't in the response, then it won't give them points for it. So that's how the short answers work. Right. So that is our questions AI. Beautiful. All right. Now, next we're going to talk about class view. All right. So to my knowledge, a good amount of you are utilizing Google Classroom, correct? Just give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Oh, okay, good amount of you. Perfect. All right, I'm going to show you what class view is and what that means for you all. So, class view is what we do inside of our Google Classroom. So Canvas and Google Classroom integration. So here I will show you. There are a few ways that you can utilize Google Classroom with Canvas. So let me show you that. So when you sign into Canvas, and this is what we call our Canvas dashboard, you are able to create, or you can open a file from your Google Drive, from your computer, from your OneDrive. And we also have a Kami library that's full of templates. Now, you can also create new documents. Like, let's say you want to create from scratch. You can create a blank page, or you can create utilizing a Google Classroom assignment. If you select Google Classroom assignment, it'll open up just like a Google Classroom assignment. It'll show you this is the same exact way it looks in Google Classroom. You would give a title, you would give some instructions, you would attach the document you want your students to have, either from your drive, from the computer, a link, or from our Kami library. You would select which class you would like for this activity or assignment to go to, which students, the point value, so everything you do in Google Classroom. And you'll also have that feature control option here, and then you'll assign it. You could also, let me put it in a course. You could also, oh, I gotta give a title. You can also, instead of just assigning it, it's making me do everything. So I'll open it. I'll say, it's from my drive. Let's say I want to give them this activity. I want to give them basic essay. All right. It didn't attach. Let me give them the Declaration of Independence. All right. And then it gives you the same options as when you do any other Google Classroom assignment. Do you want to make a copy for each student? Do you want the students to share one copy? Or do you want the students cannot edit it? It's up to you. You can also, just select certain students you want to be in there for this activity or assignment. And in the same way, you can schedule the assignment, save the draft, or assign it. It's up to you. So all of those same features that you have in Google Classroom, it's right here. You just did it from your Kami dashboard. Once you have created assignments utilizing Kami and Google Classroom, your assignments will appear on this right-hand side. So they appear right here. So you'll be able to see all of those activities, and you can access those assignments that you've created in Google Classroom. So I've created this assignment and I can see my students' work. This is what we call class view. So again, the way that I got here was because I've assigned these activities, Kami activities, I'm able to see them on my Kami dashboard, and I'm also able to view them in what we call class view. So that's one way to do it. I'll show you another way you can do it as well, and it will take us back to class view. Your Google Classroom probably looks a little something like this. You have all of your classrooms over to your left side, and then you have the class that you're into, and you have your menu here of your classwork, your people, grades, analytics. When you select classwork, you'll see this option for create. Because you have that Kami extension installed, like we talked about before, you will have underneath, when you select create, you'll have the assignment button, and underneath assignment, you'll have Kami assignment. This will only exist when you have the extension installed and you have the extension installed and you've signed into Kami. The reason why you want to use this Kami assignment button instead of assignment is because when you select that Kami assignment button, you'll get this. It looks exactly the same as the Google Classroom, but it says Google Classroom Kami assignment. That's how you know the difference. And those activities that you create using that Kami assignment button will appear right here on your Kami dashboard. And it will allow you to utilize that class view that we're talking about. So your activities, when you create them utilizing that Kami button, that create Kami assignment button, what is different is it still gives you those same Google Classroom features that you know and love of how many students turned in the activity, how many students were assigned. But but it's going to give you this option that is called class view that's greater than just reviewing the work. So probably right now you're utilizing this review work, right? You can see, and review work allows you to look at one student at a time. Okay, I see Lisette's work. She typed in here. She goes from, she must be bilingual. She has some English and some Spanish here. And I'm able to grade her activity, give her a comment. Beautiful. But now, because this is a Kami assignment, to the right side, next to return, I have this open class view button. When I select there, I am able to not just review Lisette's work, I'm able to see all of my students' work in one space. So there's a progress bar at the bottom that I can move across, not a progress bar, I have a bar at the bottom that I can move across, and I can see all of my students' work at one time, and I also can grade it here. So I can grade all of their work. I can also provide feedback for my students. I can comment on my students' work. I can give them some stickers. Give them some stickers here. I can give them some comments, all from this one spot. And I can grade it, give 100%, August, 100% there. And I can do all of these things here. And I can return individual assignments. So I can return this to Humphrey individually. I can return it to him. Or if I've graded all of my students' activities, I can select where it says return all. So all the grades will be returned to the students. Another feature inside of Class View is that I can view my students' work in a variety of ways, either by their submission status. So all of my students who who have not turned in the work just yet, they'll be first. Then I'm also able to see them in alphabetical order from first name A to Z or last name A to Z, or I can see which students last submitted the activity. So I can see that here. The most recent ones here. Another thing about Class View is that in this particular setting, I am able to review all of my students' work in one place. But at the top right, near my initials, I can toggle over to edit the assignment. What that does is I can edit the assignment from here, and I can make any changes. So let's just say I have a typo. I'm sure you're perfect and you don't ever make mistakes, but let's just say you did make a typo. You can edit, or let's say you forgot to add something. So let's say I want to add a text box here. Please write incomplete sentences. All right. And now that change will be for all of my students without me having to reassign this activity. So once I add whatever I need to add or edit, I can select here where it says update all. And without me having to reassign the activity, delete the first activity, and lose some of my students who are like, this is too much, I have now updated, and it will literally automatically update all of my students' activity. So the new directions will now be there on my students' activity. If I want to go back to Class View, I just slide that pencil over, and now I'm back into Class View. I'm also able, so next to, I can return all, like I mentioned before. And also we have our Insights button. So this really utilizes that AI of allowing you to see your students' performance. So you can see your top performers, your median scores, your lowest. And if this were a questions AI, like you utilize, you could see each question. I'll show you in another one, but you can see each question. You can see how well students did on each question. So I will show you that. Let me give you one that has questions. Okay, So I'm going to review the work and I'll show you what it looks like on questions. When you do one of those questions AI, select here and you're able to see how many of your students got each question correct. So what percentage of students? So for question number 1, 86%, but question number 2 is 100. Question number 3 is 66%. So this can really help you inform what you need to reteach or which groups you need to talk with. Maybe some of your students, you can see how students did well. The top performers or the performances, the median scores, maybe Olivia and Anne-Marie and Lisette can work together. Or maybe this is a small group, you need to address some misconceptions. So these insights really help you to inform your practice as a teacher in a way that you don't have to comb through the data. The AI does it for you. Any questions about our class view or why utilizing the Kami assignment with Google Classroom could be great? Any questions or anything you would like for me to review over? Did I lose anybody? Anybody? Y'all still with me? Y'all all right? Y'all are so quiet. Okay. Thank you. Whew. All right, you're still with me. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. All right, and then the next thing I want to show you, want to make sure that we're good on time. The next thing I want to show you is, let's go here. I'm going to show this. All right, so we talked about class view and the insights, and what's on your Kami doc is just giving you, like a static picture of what we went through in our presentation. Again, you have a copy of this, like this is your copy of it. All right, the next thing I want to talk with you about is the understand menu. So that's like a new Kami feature. So if you've been using Kami for a while and you're like, I know Kami. Well, the understand menu came out, I believe, in March. And so we have really fleshed out this menu to really give accessibility to our students utilizing AI. So if you look on your toolbar on the Kami document, underneath select, you'll have as the second choice is our understand menu. When you select understand, you'll see this menu appear. The first option in the menu is our dictionary tool. When you select that dictionary tool, you can highlight any word in the document and it will give you, you can highlight any word in the document and it will give you the Oxford Standard Dictionary definition of that word. Not only will it give you the dictionary definition of that word, you can go in English or Spanish. So put it back in US English. And it will give you up to three definitions of that word. And not only will it give you the definitions, it'll also say the word out loud. And it'll also read aloud the definitions. So you can play with those. And that's our dictionary tool. It's wonderful and does a great thing. It also can translate into Spanish. So it's there. It's beautiful. And that's what it used to be, just the dictionary tool. But we have expanded out into our understand menu. So that's dictionary. The next tool is our translate tool. So when it does just that, you can translate a single word or phrase or an entire page. So I'm going to cover all of the text and it will translate the text that you have toggled over into 155 languages. So we have 2 Spanishes, Spain and Mexico. We have 2 Chinese. I think we have, simplified and traditional. We have French. We have Filipino. We have Dutch. So we really try to make sure that we are appealing to your population and what needs your population would have. In my particular, I taught in LAUSD, so Spanish Mexico would be one of the most popular languages that my students would need translations for. And not only does it translate, but you can have this read aloud for your students so they can hear it. And also a comment can be created for the translation. So now that comment will be created to the right-hand side so that you can see both the English and the translation, but they do not impede with one another. Also, if you would like for that translation to be copied, let's say a student needs this translation somewhere else, a Google Doc or a Word doc, or maybe just like a note, they can copy that response to their clipboard, and that can be it. I would love for you all to try to translate something. So toggle over it. You can do a variety of languages. If there is a language that your students need that you don't see in our translation currently supported, please let myself or Katie know. And we will do our best to send that to the developing team. And hopefully we can get that translation for you before back, in a timely fashion. So that is our translation. The idea behind this is that we know students are already doing this. They probably are going from one website back and forth to the other. And the idea is to help mitigate that frustration and to limit that for our students. And we have the AI tools to do that. Underneath Translate, we have our Explain menu, and each of these have their own page. So if you want to go more into depth, what the Explain menu does is it attempts to explain images generally, or it's really good for charts and for graphs. And what it'll do is it'll give questions too. So not just the image itself, but it'll give you questions about the image. So let's explore the world of Greek columns. The image shows 3 distinct images. And it goes on, but also this can be read aloud for your students. A comment can be created, or this can be copied as well. It generates questions as well. So that's Explain. I've used it for science, like for a plant and animal cell. I've also used it for bar graphs. It can be great for a variety of diagrams. It's also really helpful for our students who may be newcomers to English, because it can translate that explanation too. So I recently saw that you can change it to the languages, any language that you need here. So you can change it. All right. I'm going to rapid fire the next few. So Summarize literally does that. It summarizes the text. So it'll take either a page or a paragraph, and it'll reduce it down to 3 sentences. So it summarizes text. Again, you have the option to turn on or turn off any of these features. So if you teach Spanish or you teach a foreign language, you don't want your students to be able to use the Translate tool, you can turn it off. And they'll never even know they had it. It won't be blacked out. It will not appear. It won't be there for them. And the summarization tool as well. You can turn any of these features on or off at any point. Relevel, what Relevel does is it attempts to change the level of the passage. So it will take the reading level of the passage. Let's say this is a 10th grade passage. It can level it down all the way up to a pre-K passage. So you can go over text, and it'll change from whatever grade level the text is in. One of the most famous Greek thinkers and teachers was Socrates. He lived from this time to this time, and that response can also be read aloud, or a comment can be created, or responses can be copied to the clipboard. And last in our Understand menu is the Adjust. What this attempts to do is similar to Relevel, but it will adjust the passage to a upper or a lower reading level. So they do very similar things. but it will make it easier or harder for your students to read. And what this is really about is giving your students an opportunity, like personalizing it and differentiating for your students who still need to grasp the content. It's just that now it has become a reading comprehension test. So the content needs to be there, and it just gives them a way to access the knowledge without giving them a reading test. So that is our understand menu. All right. So we do have 4 minutes left. And I do want to show you that. So we went over a great amount of tools that we have here in Kami. So you all have what is called Kami Companion. So what that is taking these tools, this understand menu, this read aloud tool, and it takes those tools, not just in Kami documents, but it takes them to a variety of websites that students would be using already. So I'll just show you a little bit of what that means. So I'll give you a preview in the last 3 minutes that we have. And then, so you all have access to what is called your Kami Companion toolbar. And you all will have some more trainings throughout the year we will offer. But you'll now have this toolbar that can go with you to websites that students are already using, such as Khan Academy. So let's say that I would like for the explain tool or the translate tool, for example, to translate this for me. It will translate this sentence into whichever, right now it's just doing it in Spanish, and then we do have more languages. So we can translate into more languages, and it will also read that translation aloud to me. Another cool feature that is in Kami Companion is that we have a reading ruler. So I can, this one is like really big, so let me change the settings on it. So I will make it much smaller. So this is the reading ruler. So I will make it here, and I can have this reading ruler, or I can utilize what's called the screen masking to help me focus. This can be a really good tool for your students as well. This is another place. And these can be features that you already are like, oh, this is great. Now can go with students on a variety of websites, such as Khan Academy, Illustrative Math, if that's something that you all are using. I'll also show you the explain tool, like for these graphs, because I wanted to show you that. Not what I was trying to do. And here, but I should be able to use explain for this. I guess not. Sorry about that. But yeah, so there's an explain tool. And then we also have an immersive reader tool. So it will turn any page, any web page into an immersive reader. So you all will have, look out for in your PD offerings throughout the year, for a Kami Companion training, because I want to make sure that you all are able to utilize that resource. All right, we are hitting time. So any questions about any of the AI tools that we've gone over? Anybody? All right, I'm going to give you the feedback link that they want you to use. I'm going to put it in the chat, and thank you so much. You all were a lovely audience. All right. And again, you can utilize any of those resources that we have inside of the document. Please utilize that document. And I hope we transition you from, I don't know anything about Kami to maybe I'm going to start using this thing. But there is a recording. So I believe Jennifer will give you the access to the recording as well. I hope you'll have a great next session. I've got to run too. See y'all later.